So today is Monday, and I haven't done one of these Monday videos in a little while, but we're going to do one today because we have an absolutely monumental week coming our way with the Asgard Divide event that's about to happen, along with all the other things that are going on in the game. So you and I need to have a conversation because we have to be on top of this stuff. We really want to plan our week so that we are as successful as possible during this absolutely massive week that Raid is throwing our way. I am Colred. This is Colred Plays. Let's get started. Since today is Monday, that must mean tomorrow is my Takeover Tuesday live stream. I go live at 1 p.m. Eastern time. I'm giving away free account takeovers to members of my Discord community. So if you want your chance at a free takeover, or you just enjoy takeover content, you should come check it out. And while you're here, if you could please smash that like button, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and consider joining our Discord community. Thanks so much. Now let's get back to the video. So let's start here. This is part of the sneak peek video that just got released. As you can see, the Asgard Divide event will be running from August 21st to November 22nd. So it's a 3-month event, which is pretty substantial. That's pretty cool. Now today is Monday the 19th. So that means August 21st is this Wednesday. And as we know, that means we'll be in the middle of a siege, a clan siege. We've also got a bunch of other events going on in the game. So there's going to be chaos right away. There's going to be so much to do starting Wednesday. We don't know what else is going to happen, but we do know two things, basically. The first is that there's going to be a new event dungeon that opens up. It's going to have Odin as the boss, and we're going to have access to a new gear set called Pinpoint. So that's pretty cool that we'll be able to farm a new gear set. There's more details here in the video, so I highly recommend you watch this video. The second thing that we can know is that we're going to get Loki as a free login reward champion. So those two things are certain. Everything else is a little bit up in the air. Although, based on what I've seen, I think we have a pretty good idea that we're going to get an Asgard fusion, and it's likely to be Thor. So I expect Thor to be the next fusion champion. It may launch on the 21st or the 22nd. Could happen that soon. Or perhaps they'll hold off a week until next week. Typically, there is about a 2-week gap in between fusions, but every once in a while, they close that down to about a week, maybe 8 days. So we're in that window right now where it's been about 8 days, or it'll be about 8 or 9 days from the previous fusion's end to potentially the new launch. So expect either this week or next week, Thor probably as the new fusion champion. Now, because this is a 3-month event, we know that we're going to have multiple fusions during this event. We're also probably going to have Titan events and Heroes Paths and maybe Decks of Fate. We're going to have all of those mixed in. We don't know how they're going to interact with the Asgard Divide event, but I suspect we're going to get a lot of interactions. This is giving Plarium an opportunity to really refresh some of the old cookie cutter content. And I hope that they take this opportunity to be a little bit innovative and not just give us the same old stuff in a new Asgard skin. So for instance, one of the things that I was thinking about was we're obviously going to have Dungeon Divers events. We may also have our dungeon tournaments, our Dragon Tournament, Spider Tournament, Fire Knight Tournament, all that stuff. We may get an Odin tournament, right? There may be a new tournament specifically for the Odin dungeon, which would be okay. But that feels very much like what we've seen before. So I hope they do something more than that, more than just like, oh, a Dungeon Divers that's, you can go into the new dungeon now and that's cool. Yay. Like, I hope they actually do some cool new stuff, maybe introduce a new kind of tournament or a new kind of event during this Asgard Divide. I think that'd be really cool. Let me know in the comments below what you think is going to happen. First of all, are you excited for Asgard Divide? And two, do you think this is like a new trend that Plarium's actually going to be kind of creating more innovative, original content that maybe is more like a one-off? We'll just do something fun for a couple of months and then we'll do something completely different for the next couple of months. That's my hope, because as much as I love Raid, you and I both know it can be a grindy, repetitive slog at times. And I think events like this give us an opportunity to get excited again and maybe do something new in the game. So I hope that that's the way that they go with it. Okay, so the easiest way to find that video if you're looking for it is to just come in here to the news tab, and you can go ahead and click on this sneak peek, click on details, and it'll bring you to the YouTube video and give you all of the information. And as you can see, we have the 4 champions here. That's Loki in the foreground. and Thor in the background. They're both redheads, which is, maybe trying to make a distinction between them and the Marvel versions of them, which would make sense. And then we've got Freya here on the left and Odin on the right. Now, just for those of you who don't know, because I'm going to talk about Freya more, probably in the future videos, I will break down each of these champions kits for you. So definitely subscribe to the channel if you are interested in getting my opinion on these champions kits. I think they're all really interesting, at least the ones that I've seen. But Freya and Odin, this is not Thor and Loki's parents. That's not the thing. That's kind of more of a Marvel thing. Freya is a different goddess. She's kind of the equivalent of like Athena from Greek mythology. She's a goddess of war and a goddess of fertility and that kind of stuff. She's a very powerful goddess in Norse mythology. And then we've got, the brothers here, or the friends or brothers, we don't know. We'll find more out about the lore of this version of the Asgard Quartet once the event goes live and we can actually see the backgrounds of these champions. We can read the lore and the history of these champions. Be interested to see what Raid does with this. Not only to distinguish itself from Marvel, right? But like the Marvel version isn't exactly historically accurate either. So we'll have to see, do they lean more on the actual real world mythology, or do they kind of create their own hybrid that works in the world of Teleria? So I'll be interested in seeing that. Okay, so there are a couple of big things going on this week that you want to consider, especially in the 2 days before the Asgard Divide launches. The first thing I want to talk about is this Skinwalker's summon pool. You can see there's 4.5 days, so this will overlap with the Asgard Divide launch. Also, we have a clan siege that is launching in about 14 hours. So if you come here to your battle tab, you can go all the way down and you can see it's actually 13 hours. We've got 13 hours and 8 minutes until siege launches. So the most important thing probably right now as you're watching this video is make sure you have your defenses set. Also, if you don't have your reserve team set, go ahead and set up a reserve team for yourself so that you know exactly what champions are getting used where. Talk to your leadership. This is really tough. Our leaders have been absolutely great in the Colred Plays clan cluster. Thanks to my boy Dinky, who is our clan lead here, who's put a lot of work into organizing our strategy each week. It's been absolutely, I think, a blast. I really enjoyed it. I like that they're continuing to improve it. Hopefully they'll keep tweaking it and it'll get better as it goes. But back to this summon pool that I wanted to talk about. So they've done something new with this summon pool. There's actually a bit in the news here. So you can come to the news and you'll see this prism shard right here. Just click on that. It gives you a breakdown. They've added 2 things to the summon pool events, and I think both are good improvements. The first thing that they've done is they've added a mercy system. Now, what we don't know about this mercy system is if it will carry over from event to event. But basically what's going to happen is after 20 non-legendary pulls, you're going to get an increased chance of pulling legendaries with each shard. But again, we don't know if that's only going to happen within a single event or if it's going to carry over from event to event. So if you have any more information about that, definitely let me know in the comments below. We'll try to disseminate that information. Hopefully Plarium has posted it somewhere. I just haven't been able to find that information. The second thing that's going to happen is we're getting what's called Headline Champion. And this is actually pretty cool as well. So let's go ahead and look at the summon pool for this particular event. You'll see how that's being implemented. So as you can see here down in the middle, as it always says, it tells you your summon chances, 6% chance of a legendary and 94% chance of an epic. But now in the summon pool, you can see it's broken into an additional category. We have a headline champion, and that's being touted at 2%. And then we have legendaries at 4%. And we know that down here in the middle, it says legendaries at 6%. So what it feels like, the way I'm reading this, is that you have a 6% chance of pulling a legendary, right? But out of that 6%, right, 2% is designated for the headline champion and the 4% is designated for the rest of the pool. So even though it's a 6% chance for a legendary, really it's a 4% chance for a normal legendary and a 2% chance for the headline champion. And then we've got a 94% chance for the epic. Now, as far as this summon event goes, I think that Skinwalkers are a pretty weak faction when it comes to epics. So the best epic here on the board is probably Fane. There are a couple of other usable ones. I'm not going to go into them today. But unfortunately, the epics are not really all all that interesting. So I would say, watch out in terms of like over investing here. Now, the legendaries are all great. We have Wukong there, obviously, who's absolutely fantastic. I think every single legendary is usable. And then we have a new faction unity champion. Now, I did check out Bolent Freewalker here. He's not bad, but as far as the faction unity champions are concerned, I would say he's maybe in the bottom half. Like, I think they're all decent. They're all playable. They're all usable. But he doesn't really strike me as overly powerful. Now, maybe I'm just misreading his kit. You can let me know what you think about Bolent in the comments. I think the most powerful aspect is actually this first faction ally unity power, where it says before attacking, it has a 100% chance of removing all buffs from all enemies. And this is an AoE that has a chance of stun as well. So I think that this is a nice skill. He has some other interesting possibilities. But like I said, I think some of the other faction unity champions are more powerful. So, you can decide for yourself whether or not he's going to add something and he's worth maybe pursuing through this summoning pool event. So for me, I'm going to go ahead and try to get my free pulls. I always do. One thing to consider is maybe not pulling those prism shards right away. Like, wait and see what happens with the Asgard Divide event. See if there is a fusion launch. Maybe there's a champion chase. Maybe there's a summon rush. Summon rush usually doesn't include prism shards. But I would just wait until Wednesday. You have 4.5 days here. And the Asgard Divide is going to launch in 2 days. So you're going to have 2.5 days after the launch to figure out when is the best moment to pull your prism shards. So don't rush into it. I know sometimes we get shards and we just want to pull them right away. I would just say hold these just in case there's some extra value out there in the latter half of the week. Now, as far as the event calendar tells us, the Sand Devil Turn Attack that is currently on does have prism shards available. I like these Sand Devil Turn Attack tournaments. I think they're pretty good. They usually have prism shards, but they're just pretty good to go for because you need oils all the time from Sand Devil. So, you can consider whether or not over the next couple of days you want to focus on this and maybe get your prism shards. There are usually 2 events for prism shards, or prism crystals, or whatever they call them. So there's likely to be an announcement for another tournament or event later in the week. That may wait a couple of days because there is 4.5 days. So typically, you'll get a 3-day event here, and then you'll get another 3-day event, but it'll probably launch on Wednesday, maybe in the same kind of time frame where the Asgard Divide launches. So keep an eye out on this calendar. There's not a lot of information right here, but I expect this calendar to blow up come Wednesday. We're likely to get a whole lot of more information Wednesday and Thursday about what's happening, especially if there's a fusion coming. So if that happens, this calendar is going to be very important. If not, if they hold off another week on the fusion event, I still think there's going to be some good information here in the calendar. So make sure to check this on Wednesday just to see how the rest of the week is going to pan out. There is currently a champion training tournament going on right now that is offering a skin for Wukong. It's the Victorious Fighter Sun Wukong skin, which is pretty cool. There are always decent rewards in the reward track for champion training tournaments, including, in this case, we've got a prism shard at 8,100. We've got a legendary tome at 10,300. So this is a pretty good track. You could certainly invest here for the next couple of days if you wanted to, unless you want to start saving your resources on the off chance that this week is the week that they launched the fusion. So be aware of that, or just save your resources for the new event dungeon. So there's going to be some temptations. I am doing this spider tournament a little bit. I'm going to go up and see if I can get these 50 prism crystals. Not prism crystals. Those are primal crystals. Primal shard, whatever it is. Primal something. I'm going to probably go and get those. This isn't going to be too much energy, and you have to do something during the week. Plus, I find these like faction-only tournaments kind of fun. So it's fun to theory craft and then run a team. And I actually found that my spider hard 10 team is only like a minute clear. So it's like a little bit slower than my 40-second clear that's normal when it's not faction specific, but it's still pretty good success rate and speed. So I am doing some of these, but just be aware that if you're doing any of these other tournaments, whether it's the Sand Devil Turn Attack for the Prism Shards or one of these other tournaments, don't go too heavy on the resources. Because like I said, there's a chance we get a fusion this week, and it's going to be Thor, which likely is going to be a pretty cool fusion. Okay, so we talked about Siege. The other thing that has happened this week is we just had the reset of Doom Tower. We are only on our second day, I think, or maybe it's even the first day. So make sure that you start Doom Tower off right away. By the way, if you don't know, you can start with hard mode. You don't have to clear normal in order to then start hard. You can just go ahead and start hard mode if you have the champions to clear it. So, you know, consider that because there are better resources in hard mode. And then you can always clear normal mode at the end of the month. That's what I typically do. So yeah, just be aware that you can do that. I didn't know that for like 4 months. Nobody told me that. So I was just clearing normal every month to try to get to hard mode, but you don't have to do that. You can start with hard mode. Cursed City is halfway through. Keep using your cursed keys. Again, really good resources here. One of the things that you might want to do, which I sometimes do, and I have not done this time around, is I will leave, I did it a little bit here. I will leave the energy nodes on the off chance that like when a fusion comes or a dungeon tournament comes or something that I need energy, I have that energy available. Because remember, when you win this energy, it goes right into your energy pool. So typically leave your energy areas in Centranos until you absolutely need them, or if you have to use them up in order to get to like, you know, the next big boss fight or something, then you have to use them. That's fine. But just be aware that you might want to save some resources. I've saved some other energy over here for any big events that are coming this week. Just a quick reminder to go ahead and change your arena defenses. Arena just reset last night. So we have our rewards this week. I really thought I was going to hit gold tag team arena. I was actually in the green with only like 2 hours to go. And then I went to bed and I woke up and somebody had knocked me back. So I'm still in silver 4, but I have hope that maybe I can reach gold next week. And then finally, as we always do on Monday, we take a look at the Hydra Clash timer. You can see there is a day and a half. So make sure you get your keys in. This week is going to be crazy. Like, get your keys in, and then we've got the Asgard Divide launching. So I think Hydra Clash for next week is going to be tricky. We've got Siege going on. We've got the Asgard Divide going on. We've got the Prism Shard event going on. We might have some new things that launch with the Asgard Divide. So there's going to be a whole lot going on. So try not to forget your Hydra keys this week. Get these done, you know, in the next 36 hours. And then go ahead and see when you can get them done next week. Like, try to do them maybe at the beginning of the week, unless a fusion is launched. I don't know. And then do them whenever you can. But it's really easy to forget your Hydra keys. And I think they've updated the Clash rewards. So I don't know if that's actually going to take that's probably not going to take, no, it's in the game. So we've got this new personal reward track. Now, this reward track is just for you. And it doesn't matter if your clan wins Hydra Clash or where they finish. Or better, you have an opportunity at these chests just for yourself. So there are additional rewards here. And as you can see, they are offering, you know, the artifacts and accessories that you would normally get from your Clash chests. So this is cool. This is happening this week. So there are even more incentives to getting into Hydra Clash this week, and make sure that you get your all your rewards, any rewards that you can grab, especially if you're a free-to-play player, right? This stuff matters in the long run. Finally, just a quick reminder, the clan shop is resetting in 12 hours. Your clan quests are also resetting in 12 hours. So if you haven't done your clan quests this week, make sure you get them done by the end of the day. Oh, I'm going to buy that energy, I think. Yeah, I'm definitely going to buy that energy. Okay, so that is it. Definitely don't overspend this week in terms of resources or money if you're a spender. Wait to see what happens in the second half of the week with Asgard Divide. I will probably come back on Wednesday or Thursday with another video to discuss what will happen, you know, once we have more information. All right, that is it for me today. Thanks so much for hanging out. I have been Colred, and I will see you in another video soon.